We're into the final weeks of the NHL season, which is sad. No! Unless you're draftist. Yes! So it's time to talk about the playoffs. As of this video, 10 playoff spots have been clinched with 6 remaining. While the West has just 1 wildcard spot left, the East is wide open with only Washington, Florida, and Pittsburgh having clinched. So here's which teams are fighting for those playoff spots and which teams I think will make it in. Let's start in the West, where just 1 spot remains. The Minnesota Wild have full control of the final playoff spot with 87 points and 3 games remaining. The Colorado Avalanche are 5 points behind them with just 4 games remaining. Later today, the Wild play the basement Winnipeg Jets while the Avs play playoff-bound St. Louis. Minnesota win and a Colorado loss means Minnesota clinches and Colorado is done. Colorado's lack of solid long-term play, as well as Minnesota's recent hot streak, is the reason I'm picking the Wild to finish with that final spot. Now to the East, where it's practically anyone's game. Washington and Pittsburgh have already clinched, leaving 1 spot remaining in the division to fight for between the New York Islanders, the New York Rangers, and the Philadelphia Flyers. The Flyers are streaky, but they're 4 points behind the third place Rangers, so I'm going to leave them out of this conversation. The real fight for third is between the 2 New York teams, the Rangers and the Islanders. Both teams are separated by just 3 points and have a playoff team-filled schedule down to the end of the season, including a game against each other on April 7th. That game could very much determine who takes that last spot, as well as the fact that the Islanders have 1 game in hand on the Rangers. That being said, I feel like the Rangers are just too well-rounded not to take that last Metro Division spot, and I believe the Islanders will have to fight for the wild card. On to the Atlantic now, where the Florida Panthers have already clinched their playoff spot, and the Tampa Bay Lightning will soon do the same, with or without Steven Stamkos. Imagine a Lightning-Panthers second-round matchup. How cool would that be? Which leaves the Boston Bruins and Detroit Red Wings to fight for the final division spot. Both teams have played 79 games and are separated by just 1 point. Boston and Detroit will also meet on April 7th in another potentially deciding playoff matchup. With all that being said, Boston's final 4 are against more non-playoff teams than Detroit's, and Boston has more offensive firepower than the Wings do. It pains me to say it, obviously, but the Bruins are my choice as the 3rd Atlantic team. Which finally brings us to a wildcard fight between the Islanders, Flyers, and Red Wings. The Islanders have 1 game in hand on the Red Wings and are 2 points ahead of their division rival Flyers. I believe the odds are in the Islanders' favor to take that first wildcard spot in the East. Which leaves 1 last wildcard spot to fight over between the Red Wings and the Flyers, who are both tied at 91 points. While they will play each other on April 6th, the Flyers also have 2 games in hand on Detroit. The Red Wings have a 24-year playoff streak on the line, one of the longest in professional sports history. But the road to the playoffs for the Wings includes the Rangers and the Bruins, while the Flyers have the Penguins twice, the Islanders once, and 1 game against the league champion Capitals. Both teams have a tough road to make 8th, but I think Philadelphia has been so good down the stretch that I think it's their spot to lose. Which is why I will take the Flyers as the final card in the East. Which teams do you think are in or out of the playoffs? Leave a comment below. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please click like if you like this video and make sure to hit the subscribe button below, and I will see you next time. I'm just going to sit here and wait for the draft lottery.